miss your daisies, the ones you gave me as goodbye. People leave the ones we need, even though we try to keep them around for a longer while. And they said it would never last a lifetime, and they were right. It was you and it was I. They were right, it was yours and it was mine. I'm falling asleep at the wheel, I'm driving home. 'Cause I didn't want to sleep and I didn't want to be alone. But you're down on your knees and you're praying that I'd stay. But the words that you said, well, they already pushed me away. Oh, the words that you said, well, they already pushed me away. It happened last September, like the early fall does. When you said she meant nothing, nothing at all, she couldn't bring you down. See if I just stay here, I'll never leave. These ways, these ways. good?
Yep.
Cool. That is just so funny.
All right. Good evening, Jives Coffee Lounge, and to everybody watching live on YouTube and Facebook, good evening to you as well. I'm North Star, host of the Overpaired Open Mic, and if you're watching this, you know it's the end of the month and time for our feature segment, The Front Range Groove. Now, if it's your first time checking us out, whether you are here or online, on the last Wednesday of every month, I take either one singer-songwriter act or I take a couple of poets or comedians. I bring them up on stage. Now, one of the things that separates this from our normal open mic shenanigans is, for the musicians, I give them a 40-minute set. And for the poets, I split it up to two 20 to 25-minute sets as opposed to the normal 15 for open mic. The other thing that sets it apart, unlike open mic where people will do mix of cover and original material, for our live stream features, no covers, no covers, no covers. I want to showcase the singer-songwriter, the poet-writer. I want to showcase the original creative and their work. That's what it is I want to do. Now, for those of you that are watching, please stay tuned once the music ends because I will be doing a little Q&A with our feature this evening. As some of you know, I've said it before, I grew up watching storytellers. I grew up watching Unplugged. I grew up watching Behind the Music. And I fell in love with that listening room environment. I fell in love with getting to know the artist. And then when I started doing my own live streams in 2013, I brought that to it, and I've been keeping it going ever since. Now, towards the end of the broadcast, after I finish the Q&A with our feature, I will be talking about some of our upcoming features. I'll be talking about our Friday music showcases. I'll let you know that right now, this Friday, C.J. Myers is coming in to do a 2-hour set with us, and go into the Exquisite Corpse, some other things. In the meantime, let's get to why you guys tuned in tonight. So, folks, this next artist coming up here, I was so happy to have up here. I was happy when she agreed to do the show. Now, she was originally supposed to be part of a duo with another vocalist and poet who goes by the name Dash. Unfortunately, Dash couldn't be with us tonight, but Austyn said that she was still good to go. And there were two things that really got me. First of all, first time Austyn came to the stage, from the way she played the guitar to her vocals, absolutely amazing. When she started showing her poetry, me as a spoken word artist, I was completely blown away with just the depth in her words. But then on top of that, for those of you who don't know, I am a Army veteran, spent 15 years on active duty, and I spent a couple years in the reserves, and our feature tonight is currently serving in the Air Force. And throughout my 25 years doing shows like this, it never ceases to amaze me how many people are surprised when they find out a service member is a musician or a poet or a painter or a sculptor. And I'm like, go through history. Look at who a lot of those big names you know from a millennia ago that are still being spoken of. Maybe they were great philosophers, great poets and all that, but in their youth, they served as well. So it's an amazing dynamic, and it's quite interesting how often people overlook that. I'm going to go ahead and give this over to our singer-songwriter / poet of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, drum some open mic love as we welcome up tonight's featured artist, Austyn Blankman.
It's okay. Me too. Hey guys, how we doing tonight? Good, great. Well, if you didn't see it, I just had a string break on my guitar, which sucked. And of course that happens to me, and it didn't make the nerves any better, but that's okay, we're gonna push through. So, like you said, my name's Austyn. I'm singer-songwriter. I'm originally from Nebraska, active duty military, so that obviously brought me here. Just super happy to be here, and I just want to really thank Jives and North Star for putting this together for everyone who wants to do it, because that's just awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I am a poet as well as a songwriter, so I have a couple poems I'd like to share with y'all today. I'm going to start out with one, and I would like to read it first because it's called Coffee. It's about coffee, and we're in a coffee shop, so that makes sense, right? Okay. Coffee, so lightly made, so sweet to the taste you can barely guess with what it was made. the only way I would drink it, and I used to drink it only for the taste. Now, even at some of my youngest days, my waking is awaiting for something to get me through the process of living so I may serve my purpose and not be some mistake. And how I've realized since conforming to the bitter beginning of a dark roast coffee in the morning, which I used to utterly hate, that my life is now being taken away and how I'm being so aged so fast to where I can't have a young adult phase. So soon to want something so sweet taken. I'm too young for all these small addictions and coffee, the meaning hidden. Because I don't care what it tastes like, I'm just trying to make it through my day. Coffee, why did it take my youth away? Okay. So that was just one about coffee. Some of y'all might relate. I don't know, coffee used to be gross, now it's kind of good. Who knows? All right, and then, so my first song I'm going to start out with is actually kind of special to me. So right now, my dad is watching the live stream, and he's wondering right now why he didn't get a Father's Day present. Well, this is his Father's Day present. I wrote him a song. I'm going to sing it to him tonight over the live stream. So you guys are all going to be here for that. Okay. Sound good? Phone call every other weekend. She'll answer to see how our weeks went. You don't think we notice, but we do. Things you do for us too. Just another phone call. Another dad, can I come over? One more that hurt my heart. Another dad, what can I do better? And advice that'll last all night. Two proms, ballet lessons, and dates to threaten when we leave the room. Two heartaches to go through. There it is. Two I love yous and I miss yous, and second chances when we break the curfew. Forgiveness was always you. Misunderstandings when the world seems unfair. You didn't know either, but you always cared. Two proms, ballet lessons, days that threaten when we leave the room. Two heartaches to go through. Two I love yous and I miss yous, and second chances when we break the curfew. Oh, forgiveness is always you. Oh, forgiveness is always you. Forgiveness is and was always you. All right, thank you. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Okay. All right. Still doing good tonight? Good. Yeah. Loving the crowd. Very good. Not getting a lot back. It's okay. So, all right. So this next song that I'm going to sing for you guys tonight is called Confident I'm Wrong. And if you know me as a person, which I don't know any of you, so I doubt that you would know me, I'm very confident I'm wrong most of the time. So that's kind of just my personality trait at the moment. So this one's also mostly about the military and kind of what it does for me. So. I may never leave. just take this moment to breathe, I may waste away. I'll stay trapped in this movie on replay, witnessing the murder of my brain. And if I stay here, who would I be? And I don't even know where I'm going, but my bags are packed. And you told me it was the best decision. Couldn't question that. Didn't read the fine print, but I got on a bus that promised some things would get better for us. And I don't know, but I'm so sure. I get the feeling of normal, so I'm gone. Guess it wasn't meant for everyone. Oh, don't miss me too much, I'm just having fun. To me, it's fun, fun on the run. I don't even know where I'm going, but my bags are packed. And you told me it was the best decision. Couldn't question that. Didn't read the fine print, but I got on that bus that promised some things would get better for us. And I don't know, but I'm so sure. Now I look at myself and I think, how could I really believe in a place that didn't want me? I don't even know where I'm going, but I packed my bags. And it's funny, I didn't question destinations I'd end at, and I didn't read the fine print, but I got on that bus that promised some things would get better for us. And I don't know, but I'm so sure. Oh, I'm so sure. And I don't know what I'm doing it all for. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. What next? Anyone from out of state here? Anyone? Yeah, out of state. Well, obviously you are North Star. Anyone else? No? Yeah, you back there? Where are you from? Jersey. Do you have an accent? Yeah, I'd expect that from Jersey. Okay, cool. So this next song is called Reckless Driving. So if you ever had one of those breakups, which kind of sucks, and someone doesn't treat you the best, it's kind of what I wrote this song about. So yeah, okay. I love this guitar. It's so nice. Yeah. Everyone gets flowerless sometimes. I miss your daisies, the ones you gave me as goodbye. And people leave the ones we need, even though we try to keep them around for a longer while. And they said it would never last a lifetime. And they were right, it was you and it was I. They were right. was mine. Now I'm falling asleep at the wheel and I'm driving home. 'Cause I didn't want to sleep and I didn't want to be alone. And you're down on your knees and you're begging that I'd stay. But the words that you said, well, they already pushed me away. My mama, she was right. You can't fix what's wrong in just one night. Maybe if I listen, I'd just be a little bit stronger. Maybe I'd just be a little bit smarter. Why are we fighting right now? I can't remember. I'm falling asleep at the wheel and I'm driving home. 'Cause I didn't want to sleep and I didn't want to be alone. You're down on your knees and you're begging that I'd stay. But the words that you said, well, they already pushed me away. Oh, words that you said, well, they already pushed me away. Now I'm falling asleep at the wheel and I'm driving home. 'Cause I didn't want to sleep and you left me all alone. But you're down on your knees and you're begging that I stay. Oh, but the words that you said, well, they already pushed me away. Thank you. It's kind of depressing, I know, but it's okay. It only gets more depressing from here, so bear with me. What? Oh, really? Are they saying stuff on there? Aw, it's Crystal. Love you, Crystal. She's doing it right now. Okay. Well, there's one I wanted to do. Okay, here we go. This one's called Forget It. Simple. She meant nothing, oh nothing at all. Well, she clearly does. And I was your amber, I was your gold. It happened last September on the 30th at 7 in the morning. Oddly specific, I know. Screaming at the door that you walked out of, cursing your name oh, when it rains, debating to carry Underwood my problems away. Now I don't want to see your face. In the rain now, it just reminds me of how I fell in love so fast with romantic pain, and I wasn't thinking straight. You thought it was so cool how I played guitar now and wrote all these songs out. How does it feel that you got a couple out now, but not the crying way that you want? I am screaming at the door that you walked out of, cursing your name oh, when it rains, problems away now. I don't want to see your face, so I don't have to remember your name. Oh, I just want to forget your face, and I wish I could forget your name. Thank you. And just to spill the tea with you guys, if you're wondering where that guy is right now, I think he's watching on the live stream, so that's about you. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, so this song, be ready for it. Very depressing, but it's okay. It should be pretty good. Again, I told you it only gets worse from here, so. Every song I write, I'm hoping to get closer, to find the right words and put it all together. Find me humming simple melodies, anything to get the feeling of you and me. Heartache falls on those who cave, so we both made our mistakes. Now it's looking for a fix. You might be my type of addict. This feels like no song to listen to. Baby, I just want to be with you. This is so hard for me to admit. Honey, you're my type of addict. Fingers getting tired. I don't need any prescription. You're my supply with no confliction. Don't be the reason I fall from this high. You play the right songs and you'll never see me cry. I've never heard a song quite like this one. Baby, I just want to be the one. And this is so hard for me to admit. Oh, you're my type of addict. Oh, you're my type of addict. Oh, you're my type of addict. Thank you. It's hard. Okay. So that's all the songs I have for right now. So I can hit you guys with some poetry if you'd like. Yeah, please do poetry. Okay. For sure, you guys are asking for it, obviously. Okay. Perfect. So I don't have a name for like any of these except for the coffee one, because obviously the coffee one was pretty easy to name. So just if you have a name, find me afterwards, shout out. I want to hear it, because I don't know, I can't come up with them for the life of me. But this poem is actually about when I was living in what everyone kind of knows the military lives in is like the barracks, you know? So I'm in the Air Force, we call it the dorms. Not much better, it just has a different name. So this one I was kind of like stuck in that, and I couldn't really get out because I didn't have many rights as a person when you're first new in the military. So you kind of have to like earn that. But yeah, so we're just gonna go with this. These four walls don't contain me. They don't preserve my happiness like they're supposed to. These walls are built around me, expecting me not to know what to do. And I sit between believing I'm my own, even though the pressing walls are leaning in. trapping, unforgiving, and ripping me away from reality. Ooh, goodness gracious. So I'm oblivious to something so obvious to a naked eye. I live in these walls pretending that I'm all right, but I'm tired and I'm drained, and I'm slowly finding ways to escape the drywall that was made for this very reason, to take someone's emotions away. They color them eggshell white, so it would hide the pain and mask the belief that happy colors are on the way, but no, I'll stay in my car, far away from the walls that never loved me, from the people trying to take my escape, from the burden of being a mistake and everlasting grieving that I might not be okay, accepting that I'm in control of my sorrow and my pain and forgiving the walls that led me astray. Thank you. We have any military in here? Any? Military? Military? Anyone else? Back there? Back there? You right there? Well, thank you all for your service. Happy to be serving with you. Thank you. Were those Air Force barracks? Yes. Very bland and very colorless, let me tell you. All right, North Star, I'm good to go.
All right, everybody, give it up for Austyn Blankman one more time, please.
Thank you, thank you. Cool. Very beautiful guitar, very beautiful.
All right, let's see.
Cool, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those of you here in Jive's Coffee Lounge and those of you watching live on Facebook and YouTube. If you missed the beginning of the program, I'm North Star. I'm the host of the Overpaired Open Mic and producer of this Front Range Groove live stream segment. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. If that side right there, I always keep that to the bottom. It's a loose connection, so.
Gotcha. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulties here, and it's funny because I had just rush ordered some new XLRs and ordered them last night. They came in this morning. I was like, great, all right, we're good. And then as I was setting up for the show tonight, I was like, oh no, I ordered 5-footers instead of 10-footers. Okay, all right, well, I guess we got to go back and do something about that. But yeah, no, we're getting to my favorite part of the show. If this is your first time tuning in with us, when I started doing my live streams 10 years ago, back while I was still in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I was lucky enough to start with a listening room environment program called Local Musician Showcase. And for that show, I would bring up 2 music acts, give them each, they had 50 minutes. They had a 1-hour set for each of them. And we did a Q&A, and then I also had a little crew with me. So we had a green room, did green room interviews and all kinds of stuff like that with it. Got to kind of scale it down for this one, but I like it. A bit more intimate here. You know, so we're sitting here with Austyn Blankman. She just finished her feature set, and I have been waiting for months.
Me too, anticipating it. Let me tell you, the nerves were building up, North Star. I was ready for it.
Well, I'm glad. And, you know, the nerves, same thing I say whenever people are getting up here, you know, it's just take that energy, put it into your art. You know, it's those nerves are a reminder you're alive and you're feeling things. Embrace it and ride that wave. And I hear you do that in your music, and I hear you do that in your poetry. And
yes. I try to. Definitely a motive.
Well, there. So we're going to start off with our Q&A. There's a couple bases I normally hit. We're going to start off with Q&A right there. Let me make sure I'm watching my time here. All right. So this was, if I remember correctly, your first time performing here.
Literally like a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that
month.
your first open mic ever?
First open mic ever, freshly new to the game. I've been singing all my life, that's just a given, but first time performing by myself in front of people that I didn't know, so that was the first time, July of last year, so whole year here at Jives.
Yeah. Now, you know, everybody comes to the mic the first time different ways. Me, I was called out in front of a crowd by a friend, fellow paratrooper, the late Nick Broder, straight up called me out in front of a crowd, Marty McFly style, when we were both 19 and brand new paratroopers at Bragg. And so I kind of got peer pressured into it. What got you to get up on stage the first time?
I don't remember. I don't remember at all. I think I was talking to my dad about it. I'm like, Dad, I miss singing. And then he's like, well, go sing somewhere. I'm like, well, where am I going to go sing? I'm in Colorado. I've never been here before. How am I supposed to know? He goes, I don't know. Google it. I said, okay. So I Googled it. Jives came up first. And then me and my friend came to scope out the area for like one night. And we saw the open mic. I'm like, yep, I'm performing here. So that's what happened. It just happened to be on a Wednesday night. So I don't know. My luck, right?
You know, that's how it goes sometimes. When I moved here 4 years ago, I was in Tennessee before I was here, and on the East Coast, particularly in Tennessee, Virginia, the Carolinas, open mics and other shows like that, you know, heavily advertised, very easy to find when you look stuff up. But when I came out here, I could barely find anything. Facebook search, Google search, I could barely find anything. I stumbled into, I don't know if you ever met or saw perform Andrew Ziegler, Drew Dat. He used to host a monthly slam at the library downtown, and I found that, and then week after that, I had stumbled into Jives and immediately fell in love with the atmosphere and everything. Of course, it looked very different in here. For those of you who've been around for 4 years or more, it looked very different in here back then. That was before Dore had bought into the company. But you know, I love the atmosphere and everything, and it was still nerve-wracking though. So I guess the next thing I want to ask is whether it's your first time in a venue or your first time period, we all deal with those nerves, we all battle that. Was there any particular, you know, maybe thought process or any particular prep you did to kind of tackle those nervous feelings?
Not at all. I just kind of embrace the nerves, you know, like what you said. Like, it's kind of good to feel them, to remind yourself, hey, you're human, you get nervous, right? Well, you know, some people have like little mind tricks they do. I don't. I literally just get up here and I don't think about it. Because the second that I think about it, I'm going to start going crazy, overthinking everything. So I just be like, all right, I'm up, I'm going, I'm good, right? Get it over with. But I enjoy it though. So it's kind of nice to actually start playing and stuff, because then it's like the nerves go away around half, like the half mark, you know? I'm like, okay, cool, we're good now. But then afterwards, I'm like, did I just do that?
So next thing, you know, when you first started performing, you were just doing your music. If I remember correctly, you didn't share any of your poetry until you started partnering with Dash. Those who don't know, Dash this was originally supposed to be a duo. Dash was supposed to be up here. Unfortunately, some things happened. Dash, I know we talked last week or the week before, and you know, shame you couldn't be up here tonight, but you know, all that love and positive vibes to you. But if I remember correctly, when you first started sharing your poetry, it was with Dash. What was that like, going from, all right, you're up here as a performing musician, to now you're bringing out your poetry?
So it was weird, you know, as one can kind of guess that. But Dash, if watching, I don't know if she's watching right now, but if you're watching, like, you just inspired me, right? Because Dash is a really big, poetic person. She's all these big emotions, and she just expresses them in the best way possible. So I just was listening to her. I'm like, wait a minute, I can do that too. I've been writing my entire life. So I started like actually finishing poems and getting it together. I'm like, you know what? She says she likes my poem when I read it to her. So I wonder if more people would like my poems. So I started reading them out here. And again, like, nervous, you know, because it's like, you know, I kind of hide behind my guitar most time. That's kind of what guitarists do, is we just kind of have that instrument. We're like, don't look at me, look at my guitar, right? Well, when, you know, you're holding a phone or you're just memorizing a poem, that's just kind of like right there. So that's just how you do it.
Okay. Now, you know, you talk about the inspiration stuff, and you may remember with my live streams, there are certain talking points that I like to hit, and part of it goes back to my mentor, the first poet and musician that I ever hosted with, Mr. Neil D. Ray, Java Expressions and Java Jams, and acoustically speaking at the Coffee Scene in Fayetteville, North Carolina. One of the things that Neil, first by his example and later by his mentorship, really dug into me, is that we are all mentors. If for no other reason than by virtue of the fact of you never know who is watching, listening, and learning by your example. All right, so with that, I believe in doing things deliberately, so I started pursuing all my creativity deliberately. So I'd like to talk about your creative process for a moment. All right, maybe it might inspire some people either here at Jives or watching online right now. So when it comes to, let's go back to your songwriting real quick. When it comes to your songwriting, do you have a particular approach? For example, my favorite band, U2, they tend to create the music, and then Bono will come in, and unless there's a theme or something that they're working with, he'll just kind of wrap lyrics around whatever the sound evokes in him. Others will put lyrics down and then try to find the music that fits it. What's your process?
So for me personally, I know a lot of people, again, do it different ways, but all my songs start out as poems, and I didn't know that they were poems until I met Dash, really. But they all start out as poems, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to turn it into a song, right? So then I'd start getting like a little melody in my head, and then I start putting some guitar to it. And, guitar is like the only thing I can play, and I, struggle with that sometimes. But, so I just kind of put some chords to it, and then I, alter the words as I'm going, and it just kind of goes into my head. And I can never write any sort of music on paper. Like, it's so just scrambled, because it's all in my head. If I, got brain wiped, then I wouldn't know what song I'm doing anymore. But yeah, so that's all I have really, creative process-wise. I don't really do much.
Well, no, it is interesting to see. I know me, when I first started writing, it's funny, I first started writing in earnest when I was about 14 or 15, and originally this was not intended as a poetic outlet. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a rock star. I was writing song lyrics when I first started out. With my inspirations being Shakespeare, Poe, and Pearl Jam. That first album from Pearl Jam, 10.
Great combination. Love it.
Probably the Shakespeare and Poe influence, but one of my teachers pointed out very poetic notion to it, and I didn't know who Jack Kerouac was at the time. Started comparing me to him. I was like, who's this crazy guy? I don't know. But I eventually grew and developed from there. When you look back on your creative journey, from when you first started writing and or composing, then actually singing, learning to play, and to getting up on stage, what do you see when you look back at your creative journey?
I think I've come a long way. If y'all could, see some of my old lyrics, you'd be like, what was this child thinking? Let me tell you. But like, I look back at it though, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm proud of the progress that I made. Ooh, it's kind of going out there. But yeah, I forgot totally my train of thought right there. Yeah, the progress that I made, because I developed in the way that I talk. Like, obviously, most people develop that over time. They start getting bigger words. And for me, mostly, it was my emotions. So I used to have a really hard time of putting my emotions onto paper. I'd say what people think I think that they would want me to say on paper, and it wasn't actually my own. So that was something that I struggled with. But then eventually, I was like, you know what? Screw it. It's going to be my own emotion this time. So then I would start writing my own emotions, and it just started to turn into the way that I talked. And that's actually some of the best advice I've ever gotten for songwriting, was write the way that you talk. So
I like that. I really do, especially because with poets, I will often tell people, and the poetry hike that got rained out a couple weeks ago that I started doing, it's one of the things I had planned on hitting with them is, for me at least, when you get to the performance aspect of poetry and even music and songwriting, it's a conversation.
Really, yeah, it definitely is. It's a conversation with yourself, You're like, wait a minute, do I feel this way? No, I feel this way. And you just keep debating that, so it's just that back and forth, and it's really cool how people do it. So
Definitely. Now, one of the things that a lot of people run into, and I know that for some people, especially if any of you out there thinking about coming up and performing, whether here or another venue somewhere for the first time ever, one of the things that often hits a lot of people is that I call it creative constipation, that writer's block, really kind of sticks with some people. Now, I have my ways of going through it, and people have heard me talk about that ad nauseum. Do you have any particular ways of dealing with that in terms of your writer's block or when you're trying to compose, maybe, stuff like that?
Yeah, so whenever I'm going through writer's block, which actually was very recent, I just could not think of one thing to put down on paper, so that was a struggle. But what I do is I just completely go away from it. I just ignore it. I don't pick up my guitar, and I don't write anything down. If I have something in my head, it's just nothing, right? I'm not gonna look to it, and that might be bad advice, but it works for me, okay? It just works for me. But I do like to listen to songs that, if I'm sad, I'll listen to sad songs. Mad, listen to just, hardcore, just angry songs. That kind of gets me out of it a little bit, but mostly I just ignore music all in all just to get through it. And, it's weird, but it works.
It does, and I really think you gotta find that. You gotta find what works for you. You gotta find what helps everything flow for you. And I'm gonna follow that. I'm gonna take that and lead that into a two-parter.
Okay.
All right. So first things first. One of the things I often recommend to many people, something that has helped me in ways that I first scoffed at and now marvel at, is when I hit those moments of writer's block. I start looking to places I haven't looked before. So for example, as a poet, you would think I look to other poets. No, I look to songwriters, I look to painters, I look to sculptors. And then that's also how I got into screenwriting and cinematography and short films. I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to try something different for a little bit, to clear that out. So that's the first part of the question is, outside of other music influences or poetic influences, are there other art forms, styles, mediums that inspire your creativity? And then the second part is, if you could, looking at music and poetry directly, what would you attribute from those veins as your inspirations and your touchstones in your creativity?
So, to answer that first part, I look to paintings a lot. Like, it sounds weird, but I like to paint. I'm not very good at it, but I love to paint. So I'll just buy like a canvas, something like that, and I'll just kind of like, when I can't write out what I'm feeling, I normally can paint it out, which again, sounds funny. But yeah, so I'll just kind of like get inspired again from that. And then I'll also like, Pinterest or Google, just like Google other paintings and stuff. It's like they have emotion. So you can kind of just, I'm an empath, so like, I can kind of take the emotions from other things and just kind of put it on my own. I'm like, okay, so they're mad right now, and I can feel that they're mad just by that painting, just by those color choices. So I'm going to kind of like take that, and I'm going to use it for my own work. And I totally forgot the second part of that question. What was it?
Going into poetry music specifically.
Okay.
What would you say are your inspirations, your touchstones, stuff like that?
So
your
my influences, my inspirations, all that stuff, again, is like artwork, right? And I also have like some other singer influences stuff. I get compared to Taylor Swift a lot. I'll take it because she's pretty banger. Like, she's great. So I'll take that. But, there's like, oh, God. Okay, like Elvis, too, right? So he was prior military, and that's kind of a big thing for me, too. So it kind of inspires me in more ways than one, because again, like, you go from that, artist thing in the military to like, full-on musician and stuff. So that kind of just sets off whatever. So Elvis, Taylor Swift, just regular paintings, like mosaics. I like looking at mosaics a lot. It's very inspiring. I don't know, it's weird, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm gonna get into my last two questions, and then I'm gonna let you out of the hot seat.
Cool.
So first question, I'm all about promoting yourself.
Yes.
First of all, simply because if you don't prop yourself up and put yourself out there, how can you expect anybody else to do it? And I'm sure you've probably seen it, whether it was people coming to you or people coming to ask you about Dash or about another artist in here. There are folks in here who want to know where they can find more of somebody's music and poetry and whatnot. So are there any upcoming projects you want to promote? Any shows you have coming up or anything like that you want to talk about?
So I don't actually have any shows coming up. I've been working with one studio. It's called Timeless Studios. I don't know if you know them.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of something I've been doing around. We go to like... what's that? Steel Pan? If you guys know Steel Pan, we go there sometimes, do some shows every now and then. But I'll be here at Jives all summer long. But the reason why I don't have any shows is because I'm moving to Alaska. Yeah, I know. I'm getting PCS there, so the military is moving me to Alaska here pretty soon. So I won't be around much. So I haven't really planned anything out. But for the time being, I'm going to be here at Jives. So if you guys are ever interested or have any more questions for me, I'll just be around here every Wednesday. So.
All right. And yeah, no, that makes me sad. That makes me sad.
A little bit.
Yeah. But, it's okay. Life goes that way. During my 15 years in uniform, I popped around a few different places. And when I can, I make it a point to get to where I can. I haven't been back to Germany in a while, but,
Germany's nice. I'd go. I'd go.
Oh, I miss it. But no, I make it a point to get back to the Carolinas, get back to Tennessee. If I can, I'll get back to New York and Vermont when I can. So there will always be a